The movie that I am choosing to do a review on is called Little Miss Sunshine. Little Miss Sunshine is a comedy movie that depicts a dysfunctional family living together and traveling together in order to make the daughter's dream of being in a beauty pageant come true. The movie consists of a nuclear family, which includes the mother, the dad, the son, and the daughter, and they extend their family by allowing the grandfather and the uncle to come and live with them based off of decisions that they have made in their life. The family spends a great deal of time throughout the movie trying to uphold the promise to the daughter of getting her to the beauty pageant because they know that this is something that she wants to do and they feel like it's a good opportunity that was presented to her. The family tries to accomplish this goal of getting her to the beauty pageant on very little income and while facing personal issues amongst themselves that they have to deal with or trying to overcome. The family has to drive from Albuquerque to California in order to get her to the beauty pageant. And while on this road trip, the family is faced with many hardships, family issues, and breakdowns. And they show in the movie how they handle each problem. When looking at the issues and the outside influences that the families are faced with, I would say one influence are his drugs. The opening scene of the movie shows the grandfather snorting some drugs. And as the movie continues, we learn that the grandfather has a drug addiction and was kicked out of a nursing home recently for abusing drugs. And now he has to stay with the family in which he's not too happy about. He feels like he doesn't have any freedom or control over his life. Another outside influence or issue that the family is faced with is the Uncle Frank. Frank was hospitalized recently due to a suicide attempt. Frank has been suffering with depression due to a breakup with one of his grad students and dealing with the fact that his grad student decided to end his relationship with him and go and start dating his competitor who eventually became number one as a scholar. I would also say divorce is another outside influence or outside impact. It seems as though the son, Dwayne, has a hard time with adapting to the fact that um, Richard is not his real dad and they don't seem to get along well. He thinks that Richard is weird and he just doesn't take to the information and advice that Richard gives. Another issue I would say is finances. The family seems to be struggling with finances because the dad is not upholding his end of the bargain as he should be or as he said he plans to do. So the family goes through a lot of arguments based off of income. The mom and the dad argues a lot because of the financial struggle. Media is also a big outside influence. The movie opens up with the daughter staring into the television, keep rewinding the television, and trying to mimic what she see on TV. So I would say that what media has deemed as beautiful has caught the daughter's attention and she has attached to it, and that's the reason why she want to be in the beauty pageant because she sees this beautiful girl on TV and she feels that she want to be beautiful just like her, and so it has a impact on her. It also plays into self-esteem with the girl because she wants to be in this beauty pageant so bad. She does what she can to make herself feel beautiful. She doubts herself throughout the movie. She keeps asking the grandpa if he's sure she will win. She seems like she's unsure if she's beautiful or capable of winning the beauty pageant. So the media and self-esteem probably kind of plays hand in hand when it comes to an influence. When dealing with these issues, I would say the grandfather was not able to deal with his drug addiction at all. I would say that he did not have a balance between the drug and he would sneak around snorting it whenever he got a chance. Because he didn't have a balance, this led to death for him. Suicide when dealing with Frank, the uncle. It seems as though after he was hospitalized, Frank realized what he had done and he realized that he had made a mistake. He was more so on the end where he wanted to talk about it with the family. But the dad, Richard, kind of stayed away from him talking about it because he felt like the young girl Olive was too young to understand what was going on, and it was a conversation that was not appropriate for her. So throughout the movie, Frank really didn't discuss the suicide. He kind of dealt with it. But at the end of the movie, he turned out to be the cool uncle, and he seemed as well, even though he had the encounter of running into his ex at the store and seeming as though he was going to have a panic attack. I would say that he did really well of not breaking down and just maintaining his mental health, even though he was caught off guard. Mom and dad, when it comes to the finances and how they deal with the finances, they constantly bickered back and forth about the finances. The dad tried to do everything that he could to get this book released. Mom she tried to have faith in him. You know, she let it go for so long, and she kept saying, okay, what's going on? He kept telling her, oh, he was doing this and he was doing that. So she gave him faith in the beginning. She kind of gave him that, put her faith in him that he was going to come through with it. And she kind of just like waited around to see what was going to happen, but it didn't come out good. And that's when the whole flare up between them and the argument came to them in the movie. Um, when it comes to the media, I would say the dad took a type A approach, which showed no sympathy. He was very harsh at times to Olivia, or Olive, I'm sorry, because he was very competitive. It appeared that he wanted to win more than she did because his mentality was all about winning. The mom was more of an emotional support to Olive. She showed more empathy and wanted to make sure that Olive felt loved and that she was enjoying the beauty pageant as a child should. When we look at the family roles and how they determine, it seems as though the family had traditional family roles. The dad worked, the mom worked, even though the mom was seen as the breadwinner in the movie, and then the two children went to school. The dad was seen as a competition freak. He tried to teach his family to never quit, and even though he came off as a jerk in the movie, I think that his intentions and his lessons were good. He just didn't go about the right way on giving the lessons. Mom, on the other hand, was seen as the matriarch in the family. She tried to keep the family together. She was the one who had more of a nurturing personality. She was always comforting them. Even though she had her issues and it seemed as though she was suffering from some breakdowns or wanted to break down, she kept it together pretty well. Dwayne was seen as the stubborn child. He vowed to stop talking to them until he got into the Air Force. He was very distant and claimed that he hated the family. However, he still played that big brother role of taking care of his sister because he loved her. He tried to protect her from the pageant. She was the one that got him to come back to the van when he had his nervous breakdown. So he still played that role. The daughter was seen as the adorable little girl, of course, that everybody tries to protect and keep things from her because they felt like she was too young to hear about the things. The grandpa was seen as the bitter old man, but he was still very cool and funny to be around. When it comes to the family making decisions, I would say that every issue started off as a tango and as an argument with the family going back and forth. But eventually, somebody was able to realize that arguing wasn't getting nowhere and that they needed a plan B in order for things to come together. But it appeared that all of the decisions had to go through mom because she was seen as the breadwinner in the family. Everything had to go through her and make sure she was okay with it before a decision was made. I would say that the film um, agreed with scripture because it seems as though at the end of the day, despite the flaws of the family, they still loved and tried to support one another. The family didn't have to take the extended family in, but they did. Even when Dwayne had his breakdown moment, he was able to recognize his mistakes and ask for forgiveness, and the family forgave him. Through all the dysfunction of the family and the children is what kept the family together. Scripture tells us that we are to love one another, forgive one another, and protect our brothers and sisters. And that's just what happened in the movie. I would say even through all of the obstacles and the family issues that they faced, they were always able to come up with a plan For example, when a bus break down, they all came up with a plan to push the van to get it going. When the grandfather passed, they came up with a plan to sneak the body out of the hospital without anybody knowing. I would say that this was a great movie, and I recommend that everyone go and see it. I think that all of the issues that the family faced throughout the movie brought them together as a team in the end. And one of the things that I liked about the father was his quote of "No one gets left behind." Even through all the arguments, the lack of financial support with the family, they always had each other back. And it kind of, the movie depicted what reality with families go on today. A lot of families deal with a lot of issues and a lot of emotional stress and financial stress. But as long as they're able to get through those issues in the end, that is what's important with family the most. So I recommend this movie to everyone. Thank you.